Hello, hello, Taurus. Welcome to your December 2018 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Taurus. And let's see, if there's anything that you're looking to have come up today, go ahead and set your intention for that while I'm pulling these oracle cards. If you have a question or an answer that you need, just go ahead and ask for it. And the other thing that I want to mention is I redid quite a bit of my website. So I added some new spreads and redid some stuff and just kind of updated it. So check that out if you get a chance. And let's go ahead and get into December for you. The first thing coming up for Taurus is ponder the beauty of possibility. So a lot of the time it's really easy for us to limit ourselves and just focus on, you know, what's in front of our face. And having that Taurus energy kind of gives that to you as a gift, like really being able to be present and grounded. But in the same breath, there is so much beyond what you're able to see in front of you. And the more you can ponder that, the more you'll receive. And then this card, this is a affirmation for family. So however you're defining that, this is going to give you some support there. Buoyancy. Congratulations. You are being gifted something that every family needs. The ability to keep things light, buoyant, and drama-free. Consider yourself the captain of the SS conversation, able to deftly steer your family ship around potential hazards, obstacles, and lame blame shame games. With lighthearted buoyancy on the radar, this cruise can't go wrong. Lengthy, tension-filled discussions about jobs, politics, and relationships are not on the program. 12-foot tower of chilled shrimp served on a floating jacuzzi platter, anyone? So this is the solution here. If you're wondering, how do I cope with these people? You know, what am I supposed to do? Feeling like I'm, you know, or maybe some of you feel obligated to like convince people of certain beliefs. And while there's a lot of things wrong with that, just from a strategic standpoint, there's a lot of like holes in that belief. One of the ways that you can actually kind of give yourself a break is to keep things light. You know, don't initiate. You don't have to feed in when people bring things up. You can choose to navigate conversations differently, and that's what this is really helping you to do. And it doesn't mean that you are a doormat. It doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. It doesn't mean that you are changing your beliefs. It just means that, you know, you can give yourself time to rest when it comes to conversations that are really heavy as well. And then we have make-believe. So this is you flexing your imagination. Whatever it is that you are looking for, you have two possibility cards coming up. Like make-believe, your imagination is where your manifestations start. So let yourself kind of sink into that and just explore possibility, explore make-believe, and let that work for you in December. The central energy for you in December is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a Taurus card. Let me check the crossing energy before I speak on it. We have the Empress. Okay, so there's two things that are really happening here. The Empress is the feminine, and Taurus has that feminine energy within it. It's all about receiving, having things come to you organically. So there's a fine line that you're balancing this month between the effort that you exert and also being willing to receive and allow yourself to rest. That's why buoyancy came up as well. It's not about being always on or always off. There's a middle ground here that you can explore And so the Knight of Pentacles is really structured and good at getting things done. That's easy for Taurus to operate in. The Empress is just helping you kind of bring some levity into these situations. You know, you can kind of see, even because she's floating in this card, is just about balancing it out, so that the contrast here is showing that it's about incorporating both elements, not just sticking to one, but using both to your advantage. What you have shifting out this month is the Ten of Swords. Awesome. So all of that releasing that you did, your old life, your old beliefs, your old way of being, shifting out, shifting out, shifting out, shifting out. All of it is just being purged and cleansed. I think you're actually going to head into 2019 in a more balanced and thoughtful way than you even realize right now, because the Ten of Swords is just showing that it's like the hardship piece is what's moving out. And while, you know, while uncomfortable things do happen, there's also a choice in coping with those things and bouncing back and everything like that. So I think you're really learning about how to be more moderate, and the more balanced you are, the more you can kind of go with the flow of life's events rather than trying to fight the current. You know, there are times when we want to carve our own path, and there's other times when we want to go with the flow. And I think 2019 is going to be a great year for you to just like go in with the intention of letting things be easy for you. And so since we're wrapping up the year, that's what this really looks like you're carrying forward. And then the oncoming energy, we have the Two of Swords. You make the decision here. I'm going to clarify this. But the thing with the Two of Swords is that you don't actually know how things are going to play out. And so it's just about working with what you have in front of you. Three of Rods. So you have to create it first. You have to ask for it. You have to imagine it. You have to visualize it. You have to plan for it. You're the one who's doing all of the work behind the scenes. And this is letting you create more of your reality in December than just being a victim of circumstance, right? Because it's like you're creating everything that you're doing, every decision that you make. You're creating experiences, you're creating things in the material world, and you don't even realize it. So use it wisely. Don't anticipate or expect to see around every corner, but absolutely set your intention. And that's really what December allows us to do. And that's what you're being given as well, is like, what is your intention? This is going to be the time of the year to do it. The outward manifestation is the Seven of Chalices. You have a lot of options. There's a lot of things you could do. There's a lot of directions to go. It's not going to be, it's not going to be something where the right choice is clear. You're going to have to trust your intuition. You're going to have to trust that failure is impossible. It's impossible. Like, no matter what happens, you can bounce back. You can find another path. There's 1,000,001 possibilities. So put failure out of your mind and just move forward with what feels right to your body. So pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to what's going on internally, and that's going to be a big help. In the subconscious, we have the Devil. Fear, doubt, vices, wanting to check out, engaging in numbing behaviors might be coming up for you. That's always present with the Devil, is kind of wanting to bury your head in the sand or bury yourself in something to kind of mask what's really going on. And I think it's just about doing things differently and realizing that you are heading into a new chapter, there's a lot of what ifs that come up with that. And so the Devil is just like showing you that other side of the coin. This isn't something that you want to throw in the closet. You don't want to just like, you know, ignore this or make it something where it doesn't have value, because it's giving you contrast. It's providing you with the darkness so that you can feel into the light. That's the whole point of this. It's not about one or the other. It's about using both sides. In the advice area, we have Judgment. Don't second guess yourself. This isn't a good month to second guess yourself at all. If you want something, go for it. If there's a specific way that you feel, move forward with it. When you make a decision, commit to it. And take your time with making the decision or figuring out what you need to do next. That's fine. But when you do it, it's kind of like, don't look back. That's going to be a really bad move. If you're going to decide to do something, figure it out, move forward with it, and give it a chance to see what happens as a result. Don't give up prematurely. So the Judgment card is just reminding you to make a decision, commit, and move forward. The external environment, we have the Five of Swords. So this is kind of a combative card in this deck. And I think that this is just like this is why I was saying, let it be easy. If that's a mantra for you, if that's something that you can really use this month, it's gonna help make things a lot easier. Whereas right now, I think there might be some pictures hanging out or some energetics that are kind of just sitting in your space, either because of what you're focusing on or what you're telling yourself, that really just drives home the idea that things are challenging and things are hard and things are need to be difficult for them to be worth it. That's not the case at all. Just remember that if things are becoming really strenuous and difficult, does that mean you need to orient yourself towards something else? Or does that mean that you are resisting where things are pushing you? So figure out where the resistance is, if it's just not the right fit, or if it's something that you're creating the resistance with. And to clarify this card, I have Death. So, you know, be open to doing things differently. I really like this Death card. You kind of have to be, you got to be flexible here. And I know that kind of goes against your nature because you are a fixed sign, but it's going to be such a huge breath of relief. I think if you're open to the organic evolution that you are dealing with, it's just going to open up a lot more doors. So, you know, don't get so much tunnel vision that you can't see the solutions that pop up. Hopes and fears, Page of Wands, feeling disorganized, feeling chaotic. That's really not Taurus style. So the Page of Wands is kind of, in this deck, it's that wild, childish, you know, chaotic energy. And so for this case, I think that, you know, you have to trust yourself more than you trust your fears. If you put too much trust in your fears, then it's going to make this really hard to not become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because if you just have this self-talk of things are going to get out of control, things are going to get really bad, things are going to whatever, then this is going to create itself. That's just the feeling that you're going to cling to and create. So let yourself find a different way of talking to yourself about the things that are moving, growing, changing, evolving in your life. The outcome of December, we have the Page of Chalices. So it looks like, again, that blank slate energy starting off fresh. The Page of Chalices really allows us to feel into the childlike naivete that we all miss. Like when children just don't know any better and they just go into situations bravely and boldly. That's what's happening here, is you can just kind of move forward before you felt jaded, before you had a bad experience, before any of that bad stuff happened. It's really about kind of wiping the slate clean. And with the Ten of Swords in the shifting out position, this is absolutely making sense here. All right, now we're going to get into the timeline. If you are new to my channel, I start here, so this will be where you start out the month of December. It's about a week. Okay, first quarter, second, third, and fourth quarter, that'll be where you end up at the end of the month. So the first thing you have coming up is patience. Greet each moment with endurance and presence of mind. I don't actually think Taurus has an issue with patience. Sometimes you can get a little forceful, but having the fixed energy is definitely helpful, right? But it's more about listening to your intuition, listening to your body. When is something working? When is something not working? And if you can find a way to balance both, because this is such a gift that you have, like patience and being able to see things through, that you bring into the world, that really is something that, you know, you guys bring to the table. This is just reminding you to kind of find the balance there with that. And then second quarter, we have nurturing. Keep your inner child nurtured and you will thrive with vitality. So this is also coming back to the idea of what were the thoughts, what were the beliefs before you had a negative experience, right? Because one negative experience or something that you label a negative experience does not mean that it's going to continue to happen. It doesn't mean that that's what happens to you every time. And so find a way to kind of coddle that part of yourself that's wounded, whether it be a super young version of yourself or a more recent version of yourself that's just a little bit younger. Third quarter, we have simplicity. Simplifying your life will bring you a sense of clarity and renewal. Breaking things down. Again, I'll probably name this video like wipe the slate clean. Like that really is coming up time and time again, specifically in your approach, right? It seems like your approach is what's cluttered. Your thoughts around what's happening here is what's cluttered. That's what needs simplification and to be broken down into something that's sustainable for you and that really works for you. So do your best during this month to kind of clean house and set yourself up for success in 2019 by creating intentions now this month and being intentional with the space that you're creating in your life. And wrapping up the month of December, we have serenity. Embrace serenity's refreshingly peaceful energy vibration. Okay, so this is let it be easy. Like that is probably the best mantra that you could use moving into the new year with this month. Start practicing or something. It doesn't have to be that one, but find a variation of where you can be a little bit more gentle with yourself, where you can be more mindful of, you know, the approach that you're taking, what makes sense for you, what doesn't. And you're going to be in a much more, content is the word that's coming up. The more you give to yourself, the more you listen to yourself and trust yourself, the more content you'll be. And you guys know the drill. We have a 3-card pick. So you can ask a question. You can pick one, as few or as many cards as you'd like. This is just for you. And the first thing we have coming up is the Four of, I believe this is the Four of Swords, but this is, yeah, this is also the Death card. So, not only is it about being open to change, but also really going back and refining. So Taurus energy has more of the push, the motor, let me get things done and push through it. And it has that bulldoze energy similar to Capricorn. You want to kind of embody more of the Virgo energy, which is going back, reviewing, refining, and kind of picking through all of the habits, the details, and that's where you can really instill change. That is going to be the secret sauce for you. This month is going back, reviewing, and identifying, okay, well, now that I've slowed down and seen what I need to adjust, I'm going to be able to do that. And second card, we have Nine of Swords. It's okay. I would never tell anybody that you can't be afraid, right? That like, well, if you have that one fearful thought, then that's going to manifest. No. It's okay to meet resistance. That's just a part of yourself that really needs compassion. So if you find something really weighing heavily on your plate, on your mind, feel into what you really need on a basis level. Do you need rest? Do you need water? Do you need a hug? Do you need to share something with a friend? Do you need emotional support? What do you need outside of just dealing with, you know, the earthly realm, right? That's only part of the things that are coming up. It might inspire fear, but that's not the source, if that makes sense. The source is always internally, it's always within you, and your job is just to take really good care of that piece of yourself that's wounded and that's really flaring up that fear. Card number 3, we have the Fool. Start doing things that you're uncomfortable with. Like the Fool is, you know, if this were a typical Fool card, you know, there's that imagery of stepping off a cliff. It's okay to have those feelings. That doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just is a part of the process. Anytime you're doing something to challenge yourself or doing something differently, it's going to feel like you're stepping off a cliff. And that is, it makes a lot of sense, but just because something is scary or is different doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means that you kind of have to walk through the fire. All right, so that is all that I have for you, Taurus. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget, if you are watching this in November, the 2019 readings will be out soon. But yes, I will be getting those done. And don't forget, check out my website, onyxhealing.com. You're welcome to check out all of the spreads. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a bunch of ways to do that. If you want to leave feedback or comments or testimonials, if you've worked with me before, all of the links are in the description box if you want to get a reading for yourself. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And I will talk to you all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.